there. Almost there. See you in just a couple seconds, Linda. Stay there. Hold on. Alright, that's good. You've seen some of these before, so you know the routine. Well, well, well. Dear Tina, aren't you the lucky one? So this is like your reading. Isn't that cool? So, this magic post-it note has lived its life. It's now going into post-it note heaven. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. And we're going to read for Scorpios. Okay? So this is the November report for Scorpios. Some people could think of November as Scorpio season, but it's actually, it shifts into Sagittarius later on. I've actually played with the idea sometimes of actually doing reports according to the sign calendars, which are about a week out of alignment with the monthly Roman calendar. For whatever reason. I don't know enough about astrology. Hello, Marlena, I see you. My gosh, we got a bunch of Scorpios. Marlena, and I think Tina, you are too. So isn't that kind of handy? So it's like a mutual like support group here. That's what we got going on. I'm going to just check in with you guys. Stay there. Hold on. I didn't expect this. Hello, Marlena. Hello, Tina. Hello, Linda. And whoever else is watching, fine, help yourselves. This is just going to be for everybody who has a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising in particular, because those are the innermost, gravitational pulls on our being, and that's why all the reports tend to gravitate around sun, moon, and rising. Okay, there's so much more going on, but this is the convention, and it actually works pretty well. So let's get to work, people. All right, first of all, we're going to show, hello Shirley, I see you. No, you're kidding. How many freaking Scorpios do we have here? Okay, Shirley. So anyway, gosh, now I feel like I'm really under a microscope. Okay, so here are the notes. We've done all these other reports, all the other signs. I'm just going to show you. So all of these signs we've already read for these guys, okay? And it's up on the channel already. So if you've got, sun, moon, and rising, and they're all different, go check it out. And we only have Scorpio to do, and we have a few more. We still have Pisces, we still have Virgo, we still have Taurus, and we still have Cancer. So we'll be doing those over the rest of today and tomorrow. After this, we'll have 2 more today, and we'll have 2 more tomorrow. And then by the end of that, we'll post, all of them will be on a proper new playlist for November. Okay? Here we go. So have a look. This is just generic information I share with everybody. It's just, you could get this from NASA or your own personal private ephemeris, however you want to do it. And I'm just cherry picking some key dates. Okay? At the very beginning of the month, for November 2019, for everybody, okay, we have a huge Scorpio pileup, okay, because at the end of October, there's a big cluster of planets in Scorpio, and that has a kind of uplifting wave effect as the moon rises into the Scorpio and moves on into Sagittarius. So it's like at the November 1st date, the moon is actually in Capricorn by this time, just heading in, but we're still picking up from the Scorpio energy a couple of moons before, all right? So there we are, big Scorpio surge right at the beginning of the month. So it's almost like you have a new moon birthday at the very beginning of the month. Next, 2 weeks later, we're going to have the big fat Taurus full moon around November 12th, okay? That's for everybody. But it's very significant, of course, for Scorpios, because that's your sign of maximum opposition, okay? So we're going to be focusing a bit on relationships. You'll see that in a moment when we get to your personal astrodoodle. Later in the month, I should mention, we do have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, so, I don't particularly stress about it. I try to take advantage of these things, but some people freak out about Mercury retrograde. I think it's a great chance to, do a lot of homework and fixing and correcting of life, okay? So, anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. We got Mercury retrograde in Scorpio for the first 3 weeks of November. Over here, the shift changes, okay? Around November 22nd, the sun moves into Sagittarius, okay? And then a few days later, the sun and the moon are aligned when we have a new moon in Sagittarius over here. And for you Scorpios, that's in your 2nd house of money. Yay! Stuff, things, value, we'll see. And then at the very tippy end of the month, November 30th, we have a huge Capricorn stellium again, very similar to the beginning of the month. We have Moon, Pluto, Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter is starting to head in there, people. So it's almost, the way I look at it is like we have all this stuff going on, but from here to here, there's like a huge blanket of Capricorn energy, like a big pillow sitting on top of the whole thing, okay? Anyway, let's go to your chart. It's right here. Looks like this is... I've left it pretty Spartan, so I just want to deal with the basics. So there's kind of a mixed energy blessing over here. You'll see in a moment. Let's start at the very, very beginning of the month. says, okay, so I put you, dear Scorpio, I put you on the horizon. There's a bunch of green vibrational frequency vibes here, and there's a lot of green stuff here, and there's some sweet, fun, new yellow stuff here and here. This is a little bit of a tricky moment over here. You'll see in a moment. Okay, let's start at the beginning. New moon, Scorpio vibes, October 28th, but let's keep the flow going right into November for the first 2 weeks, okay? So it's literally, this is kind of your birthday month. So for the last month or so, you might have been having a lot of very heavy, perhaps depressing energy. Hello, Bridget, I see you from Amsterdam. Thanks for hanging out with us. Libra energy for a lot of Scorpios would be, living through the 12th house. And that's kind of finishing up right now. But you might have gone through a period of depression or wanting to just hibernate and just try and heal and lick your wounds from having lived through a whole year of Scorpio energy, and then having to say basically it's all over, and then we're going to have to start all over again. And that's where we are here. November is, let's say, like very, very early November is almost like your birthday, okay, for all Scorpios. And so that's a very strong, lot of conjunction energies piling up on your natural energy. And it's going to reach a crescendo as the moon peaks over here in Taurus. When you have the big fat full moon in Taurus around November 12th. And it is over here in your 7th house of most significant one-on-one relationships. Now, why did I highlight this with orange and some yellow? It's because we have to be aware that some of the most profound learning and healing experiences happen in the context of the 1st and 7th house axis of love and relationship, especially things like business contracts and marriages, okay? And very specific chosen one-on-one relationships. And so it's in this dynamic, this axis here, where you get the maximum sense of reflection. That's you radiating your energy over here, okay? Just like a antenna, and the different angles come over here like this, and this is all the sacred geometry, but it is here where you get the maximum clarity of reflection. And the mirror aspect is one of the most valuable things in the context of relationship. So you can discover a lot about yourself, okay, through the mirror of the other. Okay, so that's why this is such an important full moon for you, Scorpio, because there's nowhere to hide here. They call this the house of open enemies, okay? You know exactly who they are, what they are, and why things are not working. This is also the house of marriage, because it's when we make these really important decisions. Sometimes the marriage is the best thing that we could ever do in our lives. It's one of the most amazingly potentially valuable relationships ever, okay? And it has a huge effect on our lives. But if you marry the wrong person at the wrong time for the wrong reasons, it can be one of the worst decisions that you ever make. And you would learn that the hard way, typically. Over here, of course, we have Uranus as well, cruising through. So you might be experiencing a lot of radical, unpredictable shifts and changes, and moments of like shocking awakening and realization in terms of liberation for yourself by learning it in the context of relationship. Some of it might be weird, wonderful, scary, exciting, but very unpredictable, okay? So you'll find out what that means more a little bit later in the month, around the middle of the month. You might have these kind of awakenings, like aha, like serious aha moments, like, oh, now I understand what's happening in my most significant relationships. I didn't get it at first, but now I understand. You, Scorpio, would witness all the worst things and all the best things right in your face, staring right back at you. Let's keep going. The Cancer moon is around the 16th. That's very sweet for you. Let's keep cruising through. Okay, and towards the end of the month, we have this Sagittarius new moon over here. Okay, actually the sun enters on the 22nd. But the new moon in Sagittarius is around here on the 26th. So that's new starts and new beginnings for you in terms of your, let's say, money, your sense of worth, self-worth, your value systems, your beliefs, your talents and gifts and resources. To me, this looks like a very optimistic, buoyant, encouraging time for you to really like closely examine yourself and figure out how to make the best of your talents and resources so that you can be as rewarded as possible, as wealthy and rich as possible on this earth without apologizing, okay? I'm not talking about wealth in terms of like exploiting people, exploiting things, and extracting wealth for your benefit. I'm talking about the wealth that happens from optimizing your gifts and talents and then bringing those to the world and being rewarded and appreciated accordingly. Okay, that's where that would be over here. Oh no, I just saw that. Hold on. Brigitte is a Taurus, okay, from Amsterdam. Ivona is here. Hello, Ivona. And John O'Brien is a Scorpio, and you're feeling good. Excellent. So you should feel good. There's a lot of really powerful Scorpio energy building up for you for the first, 2 weeks of the month, and almost for 3 weeks. So you might as well enjoy it while you can, Scorpios. Next, let's keep moving over here. This goes through the whole month, okay? This is that big Capricorn stellium I was talking about. November the 1st all the way through to November 30th. It's just a big wall of Capricorn sitting down here in your third house of, let's say, communications, business, the day-to-day activities of life of communicating, speaking and listening, teaching and learning, just getting through your day-to-day life, sliding a debit card into something while you're doing your shopping and chatting to the cashier, putting fuel in your car, doing your books, your finances, doing your taxes, going to work and hanging out with your co-workers, communicating everything that you can, that you need to for the day, and listening to everything that you need to for the day and making the most of it. But what's happening here with all this huge Capricorn energy, I think what's happening is for a lot of Scorpios is that you're realizing that you can't do this in a very kind of lighthearted, trivial way and just gloss over things. You start to realize that the spoken word, the written word, and the words that you listen to and the words that are spoken to you, in other words, communications coming from you to the world and communications coming at you from the world, they are much more significant and much more profound and have much deeper vibrational frequencies and implications than you've known before. And so you are left with this huge responsibility. What am I going to do with my communication skills? How am I going to become most honorable, effective, and powerful in my communications? Because if you don't, what happens is you kind of get hijacked by all this energy, and you'll wish that you had taken the time and energy to really look deeply into the way that you speak and the way that you listen. If you think, remember, talk about this, karma, like our deepest core feelings lead to our thoughts, lead to our words, which leads to our deeds, which leads to outcomes, okay? So you can see how it's all connected. But when you have this energy sitting there, it becomes really powerful for you to become aware about how important those connections are. Your gut feelings, the thoughts, the words, the deeds, the outcomes. So you have that energy, and you have to take great responsibility for that now. And you have to take great responsibility for that which is coming at you, because energy is being transmitted multiple directions from multiple beings, okay? Especially on this axis here. I would relate this very, very closely to this. In other words, it's really important to be extremely tuned in and very responsible and very much in control of your power when it comes to the communications in your most fundamental relationships. In other words, you might be tempted to abuse your power, abuse your words. Someone else might be very abusive of their power and their words, but then you have to handle it and find a way to find harmony, okay? That's tough. It's very harmonious with you, but it's actually a very tough pressure. Let's keep going. Let's actually do your reading. Yay! Hello, Path, I see you. So, first of all, I'm going to do some cards for love and relationship, in particular one-on-one relationships. This is a very important month for you, dear Scorpios, because of the relationship axis being so heavily lit up for you at the full moon when the moon is in Taurus, okay? So there we go. Hey, LES, do not feel left out just because you only have one planet in Scorpio. That's okay. You don't have to have a planet in Scorpio to hang out here. You don't have to have anything in Scorpio. No rising, no moon, no anything. So don't worry. You can just hang out. I'm going to use the Terra Lumination Crucible spread. Okay? It's on the understanding that life and love and relationships are conducted in what I feel and believe is a crucible. It's a structure. The relationship has a structure, okay? There is the self. There is the other. And then there is a third living thing called the relationship itself, okay? And that's kind of like a bowl. It's a business. It's a crucible in which the relationship is conducted. And it's a living thing. And you own it, Scorpio. You have co-ownership with a significant other, but this is your reading. It's not a couple's reading. And so it's a living thing, and it has its own identity, meaning, and purpose. And things grow out of this. You'll see it. It's kind of like a potted plant. Okay? Now, before I get into it, I want to say hi to everybody. I don't think I checked in earlier. Maybe I did. Hello, all of you. Nice to have you here. It's so much more fun to do these readings when you guys are around. So we'll just move over. I just wanted to say hi, okay? Stay there. All right, here we go. So I'm going to show you in just a second. A lot of you have been here before, so you know the Crucible spread very well already, but some people don't know this channel or understand any of it at all. Hello, Tati. What's going on? Scorpio rising here. Okay, we have a lot of Scorpio Taurus energy in the room. Interesting. Greetings, Tati. I see you. So let's do this. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. Cards are well shuffled in advance. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals. But we are going to have an oracle at the very end. Okay? And let's bless this deck. Okay? Bless every single card. Bless the channel. Bless all the lighting, the cameras, the technology, the internet. All of you. That we can do this at all. I'm going to split it up and then cut it up in a very well-balanced way. Okay? I'm looking for harmony and balance. Okay, imagine yourself like a smartphone and you are a transceiver constantly transmitting and receiving energy, even when you're sleeping, okay? And what does that look like for you? Over here, what about a significant other or certain specific significant others? And then over here, the third entity, what I was talking about, the relationship itself, okay? There's you, the other, and there's the relationship. So there is the crucible, do you see? Okay? And we're going to see what's growing inside there. So if you think of this like a potted plant, if you want, is this soil fertile? Are you guys intimating and separating? Are you looking after this like a business, or are you draining and exploiting each other? Is the container, the crucible, very strong and solid? Is it flexible? Is it porous? Is it adaptable? Is it fluid? Is it broken? Whatever is going on, we intimate and we separate, and we intimate and separate in the context of the relationship. Okay? So here we go. Next, we're going to look at the weather. It could be anything, your environment, your circumstances. I like to think of it as the planets. Here we go. Okay, so the Four of Cups. Okay, so my feeling is that this is like a serious hangover energy for Scorpios because of some of the really big Libra cluster that we had a little while ago, just before the Scorpio season, because that Libra thing is typically, it can be really uncomfortable for Scorpios because that's the journey through your 12th house. And that's where a lot of people don't want to hang out. It's the place of depression. It's the place of loss. It's the place of hospitalization. It's the place of sequestering yourself, or being sequestered, or being pushed away and being told you need to rest, you need to check out, or you just need healing. And a lot of people don't like to do that. People like to be out and about and living their lives. They don't want to be like stuck in misery, having to deal with all their old wounds. And remember, that's a whole year of cycle, a whole year. It's almost like, think of your dumpster that's full after a whole year of processing your life. So I think what's happened is you're surrounded by like the hangover effect coming out of the Libra season. No insults to Libra, it's wonderful, but for Scorpios, it can be a tough season. And my feeling is like it's the lingering leftovers of like, oh my gosh, now I can see what I was doing wrong, how I was doing it wrong, and why I was doing it wrong. Poor me, woe is me. I really, really screwed up. Oh dang! Like, oh, I hope my new Scorpio birthday year works out better. And then what's happening, of course, over here, you're getting sucked up in the misery because you might have had a really, really tough year. And then you have the hangover effect. If it was really tough and you have a really serious hangover, it becomes harder and harder to recognize this, okay? Because love is still there. It's always around you, Scorpios. You just have to know that. I think the message is here very simple. It's like, just be aware, Scorpio, that energy flows where attention goes, okay? So if all your attention is consumed with coulda, woulda, shoulda, or woe is me, or like, I don't even know what's going to happen in the next year, I don't know how I'm going to cope, can you see that's the mental attitude that keeps you separate from this? So all I'm suggesting is, hey, wake up. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Scorpio. The message here is just remember to refocus your attention and you're going to be just fine. It's okay to feel a little soft and lost and have a hangover from a year of living. But we have to start again, okay? But think of this as like a miniature Ace of Cups, and it's a new start, a new beginning for love, okay? To flow into your life from up above, okay? So all is not lost, Scorpio. Let's have a look. What's over here? What are you radiating? Okay, I think this is even more to do with the puzzles, okay? The thing is, at the end of the Libra season, and we are coming into the early stages of Scorpio season, right at the end of October, it was a huge stellium, okay? A lot of Scorpio energy sitting right on top of Scorpio's self. So in astrology, well, let me go back to this. What can happen is that the Scorpio can just get overwhelmed by Scorpio energy, okay? Let's see, whether you have 1 or 2 or 3 planets in Scorpio, when you had that huge Scorpio stellium at the end of October sitting right on top of you, that's a lot of pressure about anything and everything that coulda, woulda, shoulda, or didn't work, okay? And so it could leave you feeling like, damn it, like, I was cursed. Like, it was like, people, you don't understand what it's like to be a Scorpio sometimes. So we have to take on so much pressures, and a lot of it is deep soul psychological stuff that other people aren't interested in, but someone's got to do it, so the Scorpios do it. And to me it feels like with the 8 of Swords here, the Scorpios in general are realizing that there's no release in the pressure at the moment, because the Scorpio cluster, stellium, at the very beginning of November is still very strong, okay? And it will shift and change, but right now it's having such a magnifier effect on you that it almost feels to me like you're not in classic Scorpio mode when you're in your full power, and I don't think you will be until we get out of this very overloaded, these conjunctions. When we have Scorpio planets sitting on top of Scorpio self, those are like conjunctions, and those are the strongest connections in astrology, okay? So, with the 8 of Swords here, my feeling is that you're radiating the energy of someone who is actually struggling pretty hard to get through the psychological hangover effect of the Libra season for you guys, and getting yourself prepped up for the new Scorpio season coming up for you as life evolves through the month, okay? And so it could feel like a puzzle, like a continuation of a puzzle. Like, it's almost like I was hoping for relief in my new year, my Scorpio new year, but we're coming in with a lot of pressure and hangovers from the year just lived, okay? And I think that could also be to do with the heavy, super heavy duty Capricorn energy that's sitting on top of your 3rd house. It's just a lot of pressure, okay? Almost all the signs are getting pretty tough, challenging readings, by the way, so you're not being singled out, all right? Let's have a look at the other over here. Okay, with the 6 of Wands over here, Scorpio, my feeling is that you're relating to someone who's actually, it's almost like they're benefiting from you, because of the huge, to me it looks like you're just simply having to go through huge amounts of typical Scorpio, painful, transformational type shifts as you evolve and grow and adapt and blossom. And it's work. It's mentally, psychologically challenging, it's emotionally challenging, and it can be very, very draining at times, okay? But Scorpios, you have remarkable self-healing powers. You can endure so much more like pain and suffering than others, and that's like where not a lot of people would deliberately choose to be a Scorpio to incarnate, but Scorpios do it because they can learn so much about pain and suffering and healing, and in so doing they can become very valuable healers to others, okay, in some way, shape, or form. Don't necessarily have to be a certified doctor, but Scorpios are very, very good at transformational energy healing. So my feeling is, dear Scorpio, that whether you like it or know it or not, you are surrounded by love, okay? It's flowing in your life like never before. But you might not feel it personally because you're so overwhelmed with just being the Scorpio. But guess what? My feeling here is that you've got certain significant others who are really benefiting and appreciating for you because they feel essentially like winners thanks to you. Okay? And so there's a lot of... Okay. This is going to sound a little bit uncomfortable. There might not be as much gratitude or reciprocation or mutual sense of, let's say, mutual empowerment here that you might feel that you deserve, because you might be witnessing how others and certain significant others are really benefiting from you directly or indirectly, but they're just, it's almost like they're enjoying it for themselves, which is wonderful. But it would be so much nicer. My feeling is deep down you wish it could be more like a reciprocal thing where it was more like in balance, okay? Let's have a look at the relationship itself, okay? Okay, so my feeling here is this is a question of challenge about expectations in life. With the Strength card here, my feeling is that you are being challenged at a very deep soul level to reduce your expectations on a three-dimensional level about how life and love is supposed to work out instead of how it actually works out. And so that could be putting you under like a lot of pressure to do spiritual evolution, to ascend. Let's just call it to ascend. The relationship is actually doing that for you. The way I see this is that the relationship is very strong. It's very valuable to you and to others, and a significant other in particular, and you're doing a superb job of dealing with circumstances that are honestly just really quite challenging for you, okay? And so the relationship itself, to me, it looks like it's like built to withstand the long term, and the ultimate goal, the ultimate thing is to go around full circle. Perhaps when we reach the full moon, or perhaps when we reach the new moon, or even the Capricorn energy coming up in January, where you're going to become more and more and more and more aware of the little miniature Ace of Cups over here, and you're going to mature and expand and grow in terms of spirit, where you're not going to take things so personally anymore, because it's, to me, it feels like this is very personal, and this is very personal, where it's almost like, you know, let's pretend I'm a Scorpio and I'm saying I'm just not appreciated enough. I'm not valued. I'm not understood enough. Why doesn't anybody get me at the deep, deep soul level and respond and reciprocate accordingly, so I can feel abundant and rich and happy just the way I think I deserve? Okay? Now, can you see when you think like that, or you allow yourself to feel like that at a gut level, you're setting yourself up for pain and suffering, because you have set yourself with a lot of expectations that may not be reciprocated. And so you have to learn that it's you love for the sake of loving. You don't love to see for what you can get back out of it. Okay? We love because we love. It's very nice to be loved in return, but for Scorpio, this looks like a very hard lesson to love anyway. Okay? Even when it's very hard to love, or even when you're not getting the full level of expectations and reciprocation that you feel you deserve. But this is part of your spiritual growth and ascendance, to understand that you have so much more to offer, and you have to grow above and beyond a three-dimensional perception, and know that you are loved. But how do we define love? That's the tricky part. Okay, so let's have a look. What is maturing here? Beautiful. Okay, so I see the Queen of Wands here. Let's not worry about the gender too much, but what I feel is happening here is that as we go through November, it starts off like you're probably getting a sense of this deep down at the very early parts of November and even from the tail end of October, because deep down you already know this. Scorpios tend to be very deeply and well connected with the great beyond, the deep soul currents. However, that does not ease some of the pain and pressure and the sense of hangover coming out of the big Scorpio stelliums and living through the Scorpio new moon and then the full moon. Frankly, for a lot of Scorpios, their birthday season is not necessarily something that they look forward to, because it can be so intense when they get the conjunctions of the planets that's like, it's almost like, man, I wish I was a Sagittarius or a Gemini or something. I just want to have fun. I just wish I could have a birthday party and just, go crazy. Instead, I have to be a really serious and increasingly serious Scorpio, going deeper and deeper than ever before. Why me? Okay? But that's what you chose when you incarnated. So my feeling is that you realize that you get through November, and by the time you get to December, there's a sense of joy, and you get back into the spirit, your sense of magnanimity, your sense of dignity, your sense of self-respect, and you gently, through the month, come around. You might go through like a crisis period, Scorpio, at the very beginning, and then at the middle when we reach the Taurus full moon. But my feeling is when you come out of it, the Sagittarius energy, when that hits your second house of value and values, and the Jupiter moves into Capricorn, that's going to be really sweet for you. And it gets you back into being your full, majestic, loving, caring, passionate self, where you can like literally radiate inspiration and leadership and, let's say, I would say like victory and healing yourself. Okay, where like you come full circle and you come out the other side where you're no longer worried about this. You can look at it in the past and history like, damn it, okay, well, that's history. Let's focus on this now. This is what really, really counts, okay? It's this thing here, dear Scorpio. And you're going to get there. Just incrementally, okay? Thought by thought, pain by pain, puzzle by puzzle piece, okay? And it's going to put pressure on you, but you're going to do it. And you're going to be appreciated and understood accordingly, okay? It's just going to take time to get there. And please, Scorpio, don't begrudge others their benefits from knowing you and loving you and being with you. Allow them to enjoy their sense of life and victory, because you've got your own coming, okay? You're going to be just fine, okay? If you can't handle like the psychological puzzles, it would be understandable, but you're going to be just fine, all right? You'll come out the other side, okay? Okay, I'm going to tuck this over. Okay, hello, Mihaela Mitkova. Oh, okay. I see your notes. Yes, I know a couple of people. I know a person who is very much like the invisible, unacknowledged healer, and almost like the shaman in the life of her loved ones and her family. It's a beautiful thing to witness, and nobody knows, but that's what's actually happening. So I'm glad you understand that, Mihaela. So, good. I think it's a really important note that you put there on the chat. Thank you so much. All right, so that's that. I'm going to move on to the situational spread now, and because I want to do some diagnostics for you, Scorpios, to basically help you get through the month. This is probably going to, what happens with this situational spread is that we target a really critical, let's say, issue that needs attention, okay? It's like the Achilles heel of the month, okay? This is the situational spread. Again, let's bless this deck. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals. They use this in Washington, D.C. When the president calls for his own reading, okay? And it doesn't really matter who the president is at any time, because they all have the same place, the situation room, and that's where they figure out the problems that need to be figured out. Okay? I know this because I've seen it on a TV show. It's real, people. The Situation Room is real. And we have a, speed dial, direct connection. So let's have a look. You'll see this is the same spread I use on Sunday nights for Sunday Night Live Super Chats, okay? So let's bless this deck too, and then we'll get to you, dear Scorpio. So I hope you can digest that reading. I hope it didn't hurt too much, okay? You're going to be just fine. Let's cut this up. I'm going to make it very even. Well, fairly even. All right. So it's the same concept over here. Here's the situation, okay? Here's the challenges, and here's how we're going to handle it to get through, okay? Now, what are the conditions surrounding this? What are the influences, the environment, the circumstances? I like to think of it as weather. I look at it as the planets, for example. And that's my big consideration. That's why we have this channel. Okay, over here. So we have the Five of Pentacles. Again, I think this is, it's almost like this is resonating very strongly with the Three Little Cups here and the Eight of Swords over here, where you're surrounded by the energy of, I don't think this is you, okay? This is like surrounding you. This is around you. It's the energy of you, Scorpio, becoming aware that there's a lot, what I would call pain, trauma, and suffering, and losses, and sense of depletion, and sickness, and like poor outcomes, not just for certain people, but for the whole planet. My feeling is that you're surrounded by physical evidence in your life and your world, which makes you almost feel rejected, sad to be a part of humanity, where you are a really skillful self-healer. And Scorpios feel this stuff very, very, very deeply. Scorpios can be really powerful when it comes to the healing power of love, okay? They're very good at transformational, vibrational energy healing. They might not look like a doctor or have a job like a doctor. They might not have any certifications as a doctor or a healer. But somehow or other, those are the most highly evolved Scorpios, okay? So to me, it looks like this is almost heartbreaking when you look at the world around you and you see the impoverishment of so many people. 7.5 billion people on the planet, and only really a tiny fraction, especially the people in Western Europe and westernized countries, have enough abundance to have a life that a lot of us share. For example, if you're on this channel right now, the chances are that you have running water, like a shower or a bathtub, maybe some transportation, obviously a communication device, computers, laptops, smartphones, and like a job, and things like money and flow and all these things. But for millions, even billions, probably 2 billion people on the planet, their life is absolute misery, literally dirt poor misery. And I think that's what is around you now, and you're sensing it at a very, very, very deep core level of the planet, and this is very, very disturbing to you at the soul level. Okay. Hey Debs, I see you. Hello Delisha, I see you. This is great having everybody here. By the way, I want to let you know that I'm going to be doing 2 more reports today, later on today. And then 2 more on the next day. Let's have a look. What's the situation? So let me get back with the Five of Pentacles here. I don't see this as the burden of what is not working with you in a significant relationship. It might be to that extent, but I think this is bigger than that. And to me, this looks and feels very symbolic on a global scale. And this is very painful for you. And you might get glimpses of it in your love and life and relationship. And in a way, one of the best things that you can do is literally mind your own business, take care of everything and anything that is not working in your life and love and relationships, and take care of that. And then bless the world and hope that you can live by example and they can figure out their problems. There are a lot of things that you can't heal, Scorpio. A lot of things that cannot be done by the individual. It can only happen through the collective, through massive global decisions to change our behavior. Over here, what's the situation? Okay, so with the Five of Wands, you're not going to let this destroy you. My feeling is that what's happening is that your heart center, okay, your very, very core heart center is being expanded and opened up at the very deep core spiritual level where you are ascending, that they call it. You know, it's a cliche word these days, ascending. And it's happening through the pressure of observation and participation in human life. And you're realizing how incredibly crushing and painful and tragic it is for some people. And also, at certain moments in time, the joy and the thrill of being alive, just to be alive and have the chance to be alive and to love and be loved. And in this process of ascending, because, hold on, this energy here is so strong, and this is so strong, this is very beneficial for you, but it's still a very heavy, serious pressure. This is almost overwhelming too much, okay? So when you might get a glimpse of what this reading really means more towards the middle of the month, okay? But my feeling is that all this pressure here around you from the Four of Cups and the pressure from the Five of Pentacles is actually part of your ascendance and helping you to grow. It's like how you build muscle. It's like becoming an athlete. Like you can't grow and improve without being more and more and more challenged, and then rising to the challenge and developing your skills, talents, and resources to be stronger and richer and better than ever before. In other words, optimizing yourself. In other words, no matter how tragic it is out there in the world around you, your job is to be you, to grow, expand, ascend, love thyself, and be successful as you can be. Okay? And live by example. And what's the challenge with all of this? Oh gosh, to me it feels like wishing you could save the world. There's like... Okay, I'm just going to be a little bit off tangent here. You've heard of Bill Gates. He hangs out at the channel sometimes. Bill Gates is worth about whatever it is, $100 billion. And there's Jeff Bezos from Amazon who's worth about $131 billion, apparently. I saw that somewhere. Anyway, one of their big challenges is what are they going to do with all their money? Because it's obviously a massive disparity. How can one single person have $100 billion to their name while there are 2 billion people on the earth who have literally almost nothing? It's so bizarre and so extreme. But that is the world of Scorpio. Extremities, extreme power, okay? Scorpios are good at handling extreme wealth, extreme power, and then figuring out what to do with it. So my feeling is, Scorpio, you're getting into that vibe, like, oh my gosh, I have a serious commitment, obligation, and responsibility to do something with my awesome Scorpio healing power. And so, at the soul level, you would want to save the world. You would want to bring harmony and balance, to restore some wealth and dignity and abundance to the ones who are suffering, the ones in the lower middle classes, so to speak, or the ones in estates of poverty, the ones in extreme, like water deprivation, food deprivation, sanitation deprivation, and restore harmony and balance through all the wealth and abundance that you have, and tapping into all your buddies who would like to do the same thing, just in the way that Bill Gates has this private club of like multi-billionaires who are trying to figure out the best way to spend all their money for global, advantage, without just simply giving it away as lunch vouchers. So that's a problem. And to me, it feels like you're feeling a lot of pain and suffering of what's happening on the planet and the futility and your inability to save the world. And that means it's very painful for you. How do we deal with this? We just accept it, okay? With the Three of Swords here, my feeling is that you can't save the world, not as an individual. You can save yourself, okay, and then from there, one by one. And it is very tragic, okay? It's almost like the message here to me feels like, dear Scorpios, life is beautiful, amazing, and wonderful. It's an incredible privilege to be alive, We should be very grateful. We are surrounded by the healing power of love. But also, life can be very brutal, very challenging, very sickening, very crippling, very painful to watch and live and to observe. Just to observe the pain and suffering of the planet is very tragic for you. But my feeling with the Three of Swords here is to see it as a very bright beacon of warning to save yourself, okay? The world is betraying itself. People betray themselves. People betray each other. Countries betray their people, okay? Totalitarian states exploit their people to the benefit of the totalitarian leaders, and so on and so on. I don't want to get into politics here, but what I'm feeling here is it's important, Scorpio, to not take on all the pain and suffering of the world. What's really important is to take care of yourself like you're doing already, and to grow and mature, to be able to live and understand that you can't save the world. You can save yourself, and accept that the world is a tortured, traumatized place, and that there's always pain and death and suffering, and then there's always birth and joy and renewal and love and life, okay? And it's all happening simultaneously. And that's sometimes very hard to accept and understand, okay? Because it looks to me here that your heart is bleeding, dear Scorpio, and what you would really love is to, bring some relief to all the anguish and pain to the billions of people on this planet who have nothing. Okay? So, I know this is kind of a bit of an over-the-top reading for your typical tarot reading, but that's how I see it. I see this on a very global scale here for you, Scorpio, and that's just how it is. If you want to find out the eye color of your twin flame, you need to go somewhere else, but I don't do that here. So let's leave it like that. I hope you got the message here. I'm going to finish off with a little oracle for you. Okay, it's from the Return of Spirit deck. So this is for you personally, okay? You don't have to save the world, Scorpio. The world will do what it does. Eventually none of it will be here anyway, in a few billion years from now. So that's just how it is. It's very tragic, but it's also true. So you might as well live your most loving, most successful, capable life possible right now. Love thyself. Number one, love thyself and learn and grow from all of this. Hello, Queen of Water. You just showed up. Hey, everybody who's interested, when this video is over, within a very short while, maybe within an hour, I'm going to be doing the next report, okay? For whoever that might be. And then later in the day, another one, okay? Just in case you're curious, in case you get your sign. We had a bunch of Scorpios show up here for today for Scorpio, but we don't know who's next. We'll see. Queen of Waters down there in Aussie land. Okay, I'm just going to go straight to the cut here. Let's bless this deck too. Let's bless you, Scorpios, for this remarkably different reading and how you're going to handle it, okay? Alright. Here we go. This is for you. Intuition. Wow, it's a beautiful card. This is fractal art, okay? And she does this with computers, and then she turns them into cards. It's like there's millions of stars out in the universe, and this is almost like the Big Bang, okay? I'm going to read from the book for you. Let's see what the message is. Here we go. Let's have a look. It says here, for you Scorpios, here's your message. There is a focus right now on your intuitive and clairvoyant abilities. Well, that doesn't surprise me with all the Scorpio stellium and the Scorpio emphasis. That's just mega power on top of Scorpios who tend to be pretty psychically connected anyway. This card usually signifies an amplification of this function, okay? So no matter how, let's say, intuitive and clairvoyant you might be, we're going to the next level, okay? That doesn't surprise me at all, Scorpio. You may find yourself feeling more tapped in to the cosmic energy field of information. This can include the sudden channeling of information from celestial beings, an increase in predictive dreams, or sensing information from objects or your surroundings. Like the universe is talking to you, okay? Stay open to this flow. It is happening for a reason. You are being attuned with higher ascension energies which are affecting the planet at this time, okay? And yes, this will be a permanent enhancement. There's no going back, okay? So don't be concerned if you suddenly feel like a peeping Tom when you start receiving information about the people around you. That's natural with intuition. These gifts are intended to work this way. That's actually part of what clairvoyance is. It is a part of the awareness which the rest of humanity will experience when they are ready to move into this higher frequency field themselves. But for now, just relax as you adjust to it yourself. The intuition card also comes to those whose intuitive gifts are strong but underdeveloped. It is important for you, Scorpio, to trust that you are indeed intuitive, and this is an important part of who you are. Be open to learning about your intuition and how it works. Take classes, read information on it, and speak to those you know who are actively using their own gift. You may be very surprised by how easily and naturally your own intuition blossoms for you. The main thing is to trust the process of what is happening for you. Trust any information you receive. The more you acknowledge and focus on your intuition, the stronger it will be. And it will become clear soon how to use your gift in service. Wow. So that's that very last sentence, that last little paragraph, that is the key to the whole reading, okay? Hey Topaz Zan, I see you. Hey Brigitte. Hi. Alright, well that's pretty much the end of your reading, dear Scorpios. Thank you, Debs. Catch you later, maybe, okay? Take care, Debs. Oh yeah, Debs, you're over in England. I forgot, right? So it's very late for you. Alright, let me just check out with everybody personally. Sleep well, everybody who is, for those of you far, far away when it's bedtime, toodaloo, sleep well, and just keep on going. Thank you to all the Scorpios for being here. I felt really honored to read for you. Like, it's almost like it's in person, okay? And we're going to move on. I'm going to break down the stage here and get ready for the next report coming up really soon, okay? So let's do this, okay? Thank you, Debs. And Mahela, I saw now, thank you, TL. I always enjoy your channel and your readings because you are different from most of the readers on YouTube. Thank you. Be unique as always. Thank you, Mahela. I'm glad somebody gets it. Yay. Okay. All right, so let's I'm going to say fare thee well. I'm going to play you out with some tunes, okay? And then we're going to move on. Bless you all. Thank you so much. Awesome, Scorpios. You can handle it. Don't worry. So I'm just going to say bye-bye, everybody. Okay, just checking out with you.